And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it is Sunday, and it's time for all the Toy Fair 2025 news in a special edition of the Toy News here. Obviously, Toy News usually on a Saturday. I thought that was going to be the biggest Toy News of all time. Well, it may be replaced by this episode of the Toy News, as I got 3 pages of notes of just stuff I've got through the old interwebs here today about all the toy lines we collect and some new toy lines as well. A lot going on over there in New York at Toy Fair. I probably should have went. I had some invites, had some cool parties I could have been a part of, but the day job, it keeps me busy and I had a lot going on, so I didn't go. But maybe next year I'll go to Toy Fair. Need to do that once before I die. And I could die tomorrow and I would miss Toy Fair next year, but we'll see what ends up happening there. Of course, this is the Toy News Part 2. Once again, we did Toy News yesterday. Tons of stuff in that Toy News episode. Check that one out if you missed it. And I guess I would tell you guys, hey, go grab a drink because this is going to be a long video. Like I said, 3 pages of notes right here. But I got to give a special shout out to jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15%. All in stock items. They are the sponsor of this video here today. Also, of course, new month, March, Patreon. Sting Supreme is the Patreon giveaway this month. And of course, this month is my 5-year YouTube anniversary. We are going to do a special celebratory video at the end of the month. Hopefully we get to 50,000 subscribers by then. If we do, we will have 5 giveaways for that. Some big time giveaways. So help the channel hit 50,000 and we'll get that one done. But now, let's dive into the news. We got more news and we're going to start wrestling this time. We went wrestling last yesterday. Wrestling first this time. We're headed over to Jazzwares. We're headed over to AEW Unrivaled. Unmatched? Unrivaled? Why not both? But it is Unrivaled. Unrivaled Series 17. We got Kill Switch. That could be the AEW figure of the year. You know me, I love Luchasaurus. He has morphed into Kill Switch. Hopefully he comes back to wrestling. He had a bad bout of, I think it was pneumonia if I'm not mistaken, but Kill Switch returning to the line. I'm extremely excited for that one. We also saw Christian Cage. Makes sense. Got to go with Kill Switch as well. We got Willow Nightingale ×2. We got the regular and Chase edition. Looks like we just have a Cope regular or just a Cope Chase edition. I didn't see pictures of a regular edition. It's him in his stocking hat too. It's cold in those Canadian nights apparently. And then we got the return to the line of Swerve Strickland. So AEW keeps marching on with some more figures, some exciting figures as well. So we'll see what happens with those there. Now moving on over to the big rubber guys, of course, Major Bendy's. They were over there. I saw Kanik. I saw Matt Cardona in pictures. Sounds like they're at Toy Fair showing all their wares off. And a lot of surprises in the big rubber guys line. Now we did see Rick Martel, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, the Rock and Roll Express, and Missy Hyatt showing off there. Getting closer to being in our hands. So they did have the samples there for everybody to check out, which I thought was really cool. But they also had a sign coming fall 2025. It is one Bruiser Brody. I'm here for that, of course. Kerry Von Erich. Yes, the Texas Tornado himself coming to the big rubbers guys line. That's one of those guys, of course, world class at the time, that was running hard a long time alongside the LJN time frame, of course. So really does feel like he could be in the LJN style figures. Very excited to get Kerry Von Erich. Would love a Kevin Von Erich as well. And let's go down the Von Erich rabbit hole. Let's get all those Von Erichs. How about it? Let's get a Chris Adams. Let's get an Iceman King Parsons. Let's get all of them in the big rubber guys. But how many would they sell? How many would they sell? That's the question. We do have those coming there. And then the Islanders, of course, as well. So a very cool classic tag team from back in the 80s. Once again, feel like they could fit. There's no doubt. So I'm very excited about those. But they weren't done with big rubber guy announcements. They also made the announcement they're going outside of wrestling for the first time. And it looks like John Rambo. Yes, Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, coming to the big rubber guys. That's going to be very interesting to see how that one does. Is there enough people that want a Rambo big rubber guy out there? And I got decisions to make. Will I be a completist in the line? Will I hold tight with it? I love Rambo. I'm a big Rambo guy. But do I need Rambo figures? I just don't know. Speaking of other things outside of the wrestling, we got Jean-Claude Van Damme, like a young zombie sailor. We got old JCVD himself in Bloodsport coming to the Big Rubber Guys line. So now we're really dismissing Arnold and Steven Seagal for the Four Horsemen of 80s action movies. So let's get that done. And I guess I should take that back. We need Chuck Norris too. Let's get Chuck Norris. We're missing in action. That's what we're doing. But very excited about those. They also showed off, I forgot to mention, a lot of Legion of Doom news as of late. They did show off the Big Bad Toy Store Legion of Doom figures there. Cannot wait for those to be in hand as well. We also saw some new Major Bendies. It feels like the Big Rubber Guys have stolen a lot of Major Bendies thunder, but we did see the Hardy Boys, original classic Hardy Boys, coming to the Big Rubber Guys, or not Big Rubber Guys, Major Bendies. Now I'm getting myself confused, and I'm going to get even more confused when we talk about the Major All-Stars here in a second. But there was a picture in the background of a ring, and I believe that ring will be for the Major Bendies. So it looks like we have a ring on the way for Major Bendies, which is a cool idea. I feel like every wrestling line should have a ring of some sort. Looks like that is coming. And speaking of the Major All-Stars, we first were announced to those at San Diego Comic-Con last year. Still nothing in our hand. They've had some quality issues that they weren't happy with, but it looks like they're still going all guns blazing. We did see shown off there. We saw All Ego Ethan Page. We saw Sergeant Slaughter, Jordan Grace, Sabu, and the Blues Brothers. So they're dancing outside of that line as well. Getting Blues Brother figures, Jake and Elwood Blues, coming to the Major All-Stars. Going to be interesting to see how well those guys sell. The Blues Brothers obviously hugely popular in the 70s and 80s, even a bit of a comeback in the 90s. I don't hear a lot of talk about the Blues Brothers, but I feel like everybody knows the Blues Brothers. And at this price point, I feel like people would be willing to add it onto their shelf, I think. I don't know. You guys tell me your thoughts on that one there. But some big Major Bendies, some big collect Major news there from Toy Fair. But we continue on. Like I said, it's going to be a long video. We got to just keep it snappy as possible as I can. We're diving in over to Thundercats Masters Universe crossover. I just literally unboxed the King Hiss Turtles of Grayskull, the final figure of that line. It'll be on Patreon soon, on YouTube eventually. But it does look like we are doing the full transition over to the cats. Of course, Thundercats Masters Universe. We did see He-Man. I think that's the first time we actually saw that He-Man. We saw Cheetara. We've seen her in the past. We saw Panthro. He's brand new as far as I do remember. I don't remember seeing him in the past. Same thing with Tigra. Probably my favorite Thundercat member is Tigra. We also saw that Mumra Skeletor. That one looks to be really, really good. A 2-in-1 figure if there ever was one. Lion-O, we saw him once again. And really the one that seems to be the star of the set so far, star of the series, is the Cringer Battle Cat crossover. That one looks pretty cool, and that's just a natural tie-in on that one. So I'm very excited to see those in hand. When that day does come, sooner rather than later. I think we're just around the corner from those starting to ship out, hopefully. But then we did also hear about, we did see, and I did get some intel about the Fright Zone. So we knew about the Fright Zone. It was, I guess, solicited over in Germany a couple of weeks ago. Now we got official images here this weekend. And the Fright Zone is coming back out. However, it sounds like the price point on this one is going to be over $100, like $101 or so. Obviously, it could be cheaper some places, but it's going to be around $100. That is a drastic increase from Grayskull and Snake Mountain, and let's be honest, not quite as big, not quite as influential as those two sets. So it's going to be interesting to see how well the Fright Zone does. Will it be a Mattel Creations exclusive, maybe an Amazon exclusive? I guess more to come soon on that one there. But the Fright Zone finally coming to fruition here all these years later, part of the Origins line, of course. We also, keeping it a little bit in that realm of things, we did see Thundercats from Super 7 in the 5-point He-Man style, and we did see those coming from Panthro and Mumra, of course, the wrapped up mummy version of Mumra. So we did see those, but the one I'm really excited for, this one wasn't on my bingo card, but you know I'm picking it up. It is my boy Lemmy in He-Man style. I'm going to put Lemmy right in the middle of Eternia. He's going to rock it with his base. Going to pull out the old Rickenbacker. It's going to be amazing. So I'm happy for that. More Motorhead, more Lemmy figures, the better, if you ask me. And they also announced Dimebag Darrell coming to Super 7, so I could see him coming to the reaction line for sure. Could we get an Ultimate? I could see that happening. I could also see maybe like this Lemmy with the 5 points of articulation. They could maybe do that as well. So you Dimebag fans, you got a chance at some Dimebag figures. But we're not done with He-Man. We got the cartoon collection. So we saw some upcoming ones from the cartoon collection. We saw Grizzlor. No real fur on this one, unfortunately, but we do got Grizzlor. A lot of people excited about Bo. Bo was a big dork work, if you ask me. That's just my opinion, though. But we do got Bo coming around. We got Shadow Weaver, of course. We got her in the Masterverse a few years ago, one of the Peg Warmers of the Year a couple of years ago as well on this very channel. And then we got Montauk Orko 2-in-1, a little 2-in-1 action there. I'm always here for a little 2-in-1. Two's better than one, right? Sure. So you got to buy multiples of that one, I do think. We also went to the Masterverse, and we did see a brand new She-Ra and a brand new Skeletor as well. Always cool to get these Masterverse figures. It does make me wonder if Mattel with their DC figures, if this is going to be the style of those figures. That's kind of what my gut tells me. It'll be really interesting to see, and I think that would upset quite a few people. Todd, are you listening? Oh, Todd's not paying attention. Todd on the couch here today via Zoom. Of course, got my computer set up over there because he's over there at New York Comic Con. But it'd be interesting to see if these DC figures, that's what my gut tells me, they'd be more of the Masterverse style than the WWE Elite style. And a lot of people are hoping them to go back to 6-inch scale from the 7-inch McFarlane. I could see them just swinging over to the Masterverse scale, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'm here for it. I want to see what they come up with, and I guess it'll be quite some time before we know for sure. Wouldn't be shocked if it's San Diego Comic-Con maybe at earliest, and I don't even know then, but more to come on that. But speaking of Masterverse, like I said, She-Ra, Skeletor coming. We also saw Hordak shown off there as well, so another Hordak coming to the Masterverse. We also saw apparently a Target exclusive 2-pack of a vintage style He-Man and Skeletor in the old school style, so we see that every once in a while. That's an interesting idea. I'll probably end up picking that up as well. Power Rangers, we talked about it in the toy news yesterday. Power Rangers over at Playmates, I said these are too kiddie for me, these automorphin ones, just not for me. Well, they did announce the Reignition line, which I guess is more to the adult collector. We did see those. They do look much, much better. Not too distant from the Lightning collection in all honesty, but for me, I'm still out on the Power Rangers. There's only so many funds to go around. I'm good with a Hasbro set with the helmets on, and let's see, a Hasbro Lightning collection set with the helmets off, Super 7 Ultimate collection with the helmets on. I'm good for that. I don't need any more Power Rangers in my collection. I am good right there. One that was interesting, I definitely won't be picking up, but I have fond memories of being like 6 years old and watching Gem before school. Yes, Gem, truly outrageous. Truly outrageous, but I used to watch Gem, even though it was more girly. It was on at 7 a.m. and I'd have to go to school at 7:30, so there wasn't a lot of channels, not a lot of cartoons back then in the morning, so Gem was always on. But then Gem was replaced by a little thing called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was more keen on the Turtles for sure than Gem. But Gem coming to the loyal subjects. There's Gem fans out there. I'm here for it. Like I said, I'm not picking it up, but I do think it is a very, very cool idea. But now we got a little musical introduction to introduce us into the next set, which I found interesting as well. All I can say is, do it, Rockapella!
Well, she sneaks around the world from Vegas to Carolina. She's a thinking maker filter from Berlin down to Believe. She'll take you for a ride on a boat to China. Tell me where in the world is
Carmen San Diego.
And do it, Rockapella does. Oh, is there a better band in the land than Rockapella? I don't think so. Tell me one. Okay, don't. There's many. But Rockapella brings us to Carmen San Diego. Where in the world is she? Nobody's asked that question in a long time, so I guess nobody cares. But apparently, she is coming back, and she's coming back with a Barbie doll style figure. So that's interesting. Reminds me back to being a little kid. Of course, you're in school. You hate school. I hated elementary school. I like taking out with my friends, but I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn at these schools, but sometimes you go to the computer lab, and you get to play Oregon Trail, and you get to play Where in the World is Carmen San Diego? And that was somewhat fun. Of course, there was the TV show on PBS as well in the afternoons when I was a kid. So it looks like she's coming back. I don't know how well that'll sell. I don't know if kids really remember her, but you never know. You never do know. But then we're moving over to NECA. We're keeping it going. Like I said, it looks like they're going to have Mask of the Red Death figure coming here. I'm here for that. We got one similar, I guess we'll call it, from the Mythic Legions Figure Obscura line last year. So another one coming there. But NECA also, we knew it was coming. They gave hints at it at San Diego Comic-Con. They fully showed it off. It is Terrifier figures. It really makes sense. NECA is kind of the king of horror in the toy aisle. Now getting a Terrifier figure makes all the sense. Get me the Art the Clown. I'll get at least one of those for my collection, no doubt about it. I also saw something interesting they showed off is Chucky blind boxes, which is pretty cool. There's all those different Chucky looks and stuff, so you get these different blind boxes. I think that is a neat idea. Not sure I'll pick them up, but I do find the idea to be very interesting for sure. We also saw NECA Jaws figures, so we did get the kind of clothed Mego style, a little better than Mego, I would say, but we saw those last year. Now we're getting full action figures, and we're getting actually the shark there. And Jaws, I was never a big Jaws guy. It's not really a scary movie to me, because really at the end of the day, hey, guess what? You don't want to get eaten by a shark? Don't go in the water, and you're safe. You're safe. It's not like he's going to come up on land and eat you. So Jaws never really did a whole lot for me, but I know a lot of people do like Jaws. And I remember in 8th grade, I read Peter Benchley. Didn't he write Jaws? I had to read the book. So the more you know, folks, the more you know. We also saw NECA coming in hot. This is a line that's been dormant for about 6 months to a year at this point, but it is the NECA Universal Monster crossovers, some of the monster versions crossovers. And we did see the Metaluna Mutant / Krang, so they mashed that one up a little bit. We also saw the thing with 2 heads, and I want to think it's that movie from the 70s there, that exploitation film. I don't think it is, but it is 2 turtles with 2 heads, looking pretty cool. And then we finally got it. We knew it had to come sometime. It is Shredder as Dracula, so we got that one coming as well. I love the Universal Monsters. I love the Turtles. I'm all in on that line. Can't wait to pick those 2 up as well. Then we go back to a little stuffed animal. One of those things I never had, but it seemed like everybody had it, or I saw it at every toy store back in the day. The Toys R Us's, the Targets, the Walmarts. It was My Pet Monster. So very nostalgic. Not for me. Never had it originally. Don't need it now. But whenever you see it, you really think of the 80s for sure. That is coming out once again. We also saw Trick or Treat Studios. It looks like they are jumping on the Evil Dead Army of Darkness license. Zombie Sailor, not the only game in town. A lot of people are getting some of those licenses, like we saw with Major Bendy's getting the Bloodsport license as well. So it'll be interesting to see where those go as far as Evil Dead figures. I'm always here for some Ash figures. They just got to be good figures. So we'll see where that ends up taking us here in the future. We also saw Mask. Of course, we talked about it yesterday. We'll highlight it here today. Mask, a favorite toy line of mine when I was a kid. Really emergence of Transformers and, of course, G.I. Joe. And, of course, hunting for the Deke back in the day. It was a Deke cartoon, and all the ladies were hunting for the Deke. They were hunting for the Mask figures, as we do know as well. But we did get some pricing for these Mask figures, and I think people are going to be upset on this one here. Condor, the smallest vehicle possible, $30 for a motorcycle and a little figure. Thunderhawk, $49.99. Switchblade, $74.99. And the Rhino coming in at $100. I think a lot of people are hoping for cheaper price points. I said it yesterday, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this line. I just don't think I have room for it, and I just don't feel like I need it. I feel like I would like Mask in the classified scale. It's just not possible. They're just not going to do that because it would cost too much. If you think that's a lot, what would that be? It'd be at least double, if not more. So it'll be interesting to see where this Mask goes. It will be a BBTS exclusive in the summer, it sounds like, and then other retailers in the fall. I just don't know. This could be one of those ones. We see a lot of loyal subject figures at the Rosses and Marshalls and TJ Maxx's. If this doesn't go right for them, we could end up picking those up at RossCon 2025. We'll see what ends up happening there. Moving on to Ninja Turtles, and there was almost too much Ninja Turtle stuff from NECA to even keep track of, especially when I don't know a lot of these characters, especially from The Last Ronin. But we saw many, many figures from The Last Ronin. We saw Grammy April, which I just recently unboxed on the channel as well, but we saw her kid. She came with 2 little turtles, and it looks like they were grown up, so apparently them through the years we're getting multiples of those other turtles, the B-Team turtles. I don't even know what you call them, but we got a lot of Last Ronin figures coming, the turtles. It really does feel like 2025 is the year of The Last Ronin. So much stuff coming, it's absolutely crazy. We did see some movie Turtles, and they're really scraping the bottom of that license. I thought that Shredder Throne was kind of the bottom of the barrel as far as they were going, but it looks like they're going back in. It looks like Kevin Eastman is getting re-released. That was the New York Comic-Con exclusive last year. We unboxed that on Kyle Peterson 2.0. Check that out if you missed it. But it looks like they're going to re-release that one with a little bit of changes, which is a little... but it is what it is. It is the toy business, as we know. And we also saw Bebop Rocksteady, which they were never in the movie. So it's like they're playing make-believe a little bit. Like, here's what they could have looked like if they were in the movie. I will probably pick these up just because I like Bebop Rocksteady, but it really feels like they're, like I said, scraping the barrel over there at NECA on those. We also saw Stan Sakai, Turtles, and Yosagi, so we're going to get a Turtles pack from that. I think that was rumored a while back. I would imagine that'll be at Target stores as well. We also saw for the first time NECA 2013 Turtles. Doesn't do a lot for me. I never watched that 2013, so I feel like I don't need these in my collection. I guess I'll admire those from afar. We also saw Super 7 Turtles, and they did show them off this weekend. They were also solicited yesterday, up for pre-order right now at the usual places. Head up Jay'sToysAndGames.com. We saw the Super 7 Turtle Ultimates from, what was it, 2003? Shredder, Foot Soldier, Casey Jones, and Splinter. Once again, that wasn't Turtles I watched, so I guess I'm probably going to pass on that one as well. So I see myself saving a lot of money for some other toy lines and things, I guess is what you got to do. At the end of the day, as you guys know, we got to vote for with our wallets. But the last bit of Turtle news that we have right here, it was the Playmates Turtle, of course, full of re-releases, the Sewer Layer, the Mutant Masher. We got the Cadillac going on, figures, Playmates milking the molds once again. I'm in on those. I'm just not buying all the vehicles is what I've been doing. But, you know, you're to each their own, I guess. A lot of people do have a lot of love for that line. I don't doubt it for sure. So if you want those, pick them up. We also saw a little bit of Marvel Legends. I didn't see a whole lot going on, but it looks like we had the X-Force Archangel out there. Very cool to build out that X-Force team, that dark X-Force team. I am here for that. I like that idea a whole lot. But the hits keep on coming, and you know what Jerry Reed always says? We've got a long way to go, and a short time to go. And as usual, Jerry Reed 100% right. The hits keep on coming here. We do got some more stuff, and now we're going to turn our attention to Todd McFarlane from the Zoom call on the couch. Got to give a special shout out to Preternia, Toy Shiz out there, Toy News SI for some of the photos here that we got here today as well. Want to shout them out, follow them on social media. But Todd, of course, going a last hurrah out there, and it really feels too little too late. It is really tough whenever a company loses a toy line. There's so much uncertainty, and if you're like me, it's like, I just want to stop collecting McFarlane right away because I know it's ending. It's like, I just want to be done now. It's just a weird in-between time, and we're going to be there for a while. But Todd, not wasting any time, showing off a lot of stuff, and a lot of times I just feel like it's too little too late, it almost feels like. But we are getting a Super Friends line, which I've been wanting for so long. We're finally getting it, but we're getting in like kind of that New Adventures, Batman, Adam West series style figures, not the traditional McFarlane. We're getting those versions. So to me, I'm probably not going to jump in on this one as much as I want to. And the other bad thing is they're against the clock. They got 6-7 months, whatever it may be, 8 months to still make stuff. Are they going to make all the Super Friends? And I only want to be in that line if I could get all of them. And I don't imagine them being able to finish it off. So it is a little bit disappointing, but we did see those. We also saw some DC Collector Series. We saw some Gold Label. We saw some of their new red Platinums as well. We saw Hawk Girl coming in. She looks pretty good. I need that to go with my Hawkman for sure. Mr. Terrific back again. I don't know if I needed a third Mr. Terrific. This one in the red Platinum edition. We did see the Digital Superman, another Digital Superman coming there. We saw Supergirl looking really good. We got one not too long ago. This is another one in the Page Punchers line. We got Our Man and Starman. I don't know either of those characters. I must have missed, or I must have been sleeping during that. We saw a new version of the Green Arrow coming to the line. We also saw an orange and a purple Batman. It's kind of that classic Batman Zura time frame there, using that same mold. On the back of that one, when we reviewed it, we saw a bunch of different color Batmans. It looks like they're going to release all those colors. Oh, Todd always thinking. I wish he was here. I'd give him a hard time, but he's just watching from Zoom. He's not even paying attention. He's talking to somebody. It looks like he's talking to, who's he talking to over there? I don't know. It looked like a familiar face he was talking to over there at the toy fair. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't know. Maybe I'll check in later. We'll see. But Todd on the couch there, listening in, or trying to, but being interrupted, of course. One that, of course, is going to be very controversial to everybody. We did get that Kong Batman 2-pack. Well, now we got a Superman Godzilla pack. And I'm sure the people that hated that Kong will also hate this Godzilla. I think it's cool for what it is. Not a huge fan of the price point, obviously. But I like the idea of the Superman Godzilla. I feel like I'll pick this one up. A little yin and yang right there. I think that looks pretty cool. So I will pick that one up. But a lot of stuff coming from McFarlane. I'm sure we'll see some more stuff as well. And once again, I guess that's a reminder. Anything we miss in this video and yesterday's video, we're going to compare it, or we're going to talk about it next week in the toy news. So stay tuned for that as well. Ending here, at least ending the toy news portion here from Toy Fair with a little G.I. Joe, my bread and butter. We did finally see that retro firefighter. A lot of people have been wondering where that thing was. Looks like it is coming very soon. We got some packaged images of that one. We also saw the upcoming retro figures. We saw them fully packaged, the Techno Viper, Cover Girl, and of course, the one true leader of G.I. Joe, my boy Flint. We did see him in there as well. So pretty cool to see those guys. Now, I will say the packaging, god awful. What is up with that artwork right there? It's almost making me second think getting a mint on card version of that Flint. I do not like that artwork at all. Figures look good. Artwork looks really bad, so we'll see what happens there. But a little bit of a Hasbro presence. Not much for Hasbro at Toy Fair this year. I guess saving it all for San Diego Comic-Con is what they're doing there.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
But now I wanted to move over to ZoloCon. ZoloCon going on at the same time as Toy Fair. We knew there was a ZoloCon Mythic Legion exclusive figure, but they broke the internet this morning as there is going to be a con exclusive for 2025 at all the different cons the Mythic Legion team is going to, and they have a Barbarian version. So very, very cool. Definitely looks like He-Man. You could definitely mix that in as He-Man in your collection. A very cool figure I will be picking up, so I can't wait to review that on the channel. So I thought that was really cool. And then, of course, March 7th, 2025, they're showing it off once again. It is the Kickstarter. It is the Legion Dragon. They need 2,000 backers in a 1-month time frame. $550 for this big dragon. I mean, this dragon's gonna be as big as this table right here. I really, really want to get this one. I will pick it up. I am not sure where I'm gonna put it in my collection, but we'll figure it out, I guess is what we'll have to do. But very, very cool. Of course, there's going to be stretch goals, add-ons. So I have a good feeling this thing is going to hit no problem. And I have a feeling the Legion fans are hardcore and passionate enough that we're going to get all these add-ons. Sounds like we might get some burned and charred people to go with the dragon, different effect pieces, things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where this one goes. But get your money ready. March 7th. I guess they're doing it around tax time. But if you're like me, you probably got to pay the tax man instead of getting money back. So that's a hard time. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm getting a big tax refund. I'll use it on this dragon. And I said, I got to get the dragon and pay the tax man. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But that's the way it goes. We also saw Savage Crucible doing their con exclusive this year. An albino reptile lizard man, Dzera. Sure, why not? We'll call him Dzera. We got him coming right there. And then we also saw Valaverse in the Action Force with a Ghost Operator, Maritime Corps, Crimson Shadow Infantry. So 3 new figures plus 2 weapons packs, of course, at these cons going on. So a lot of people are excited about those as well. Just a lot going on all over the place in the toy news this week, and I am tired. I'm exhausted. I've been filming videos for about 12 hours straight. This is my last video I'm filming for the day. Wild, wild times, but a lot going on, a lot to keep track of, a lot to watch our wallets on, that's for sure. Some highs and some lows, some stuff I really, really want, and some stuff I'm on the fence on. So it'll be interesting to see as 2025 goes, but personally, I see myself saving some money on the McFarlane toy stuff, unfortunately, as we close out the year. And also, I'm not really feeling all the NECA and Super 7 and all these other turtle lines. So some of those turtle lines I'll be able to pass on. I can use those funds for other things like a big dragon, I guess is what I could do. So it'll be interesting to see what you're picking and choosing. Let me know if you saw anything in the comments you're passing on that you maybe thought you would have been getting. Let me know what you're excited for as well in the comments from Toy Fair 2025. And as I said, anything I did miss, we will probably cover next week in the toy news. A lot going on for sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you over on Patreon. Tons and tons of stuff over there constantly, every single day. There you go. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and of course now on TikTok. So for another toy news of the week, I'm Kyle. You know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling to the couch with Todd from Zoom. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
We're going to the end of the line.